Welcome back, gamers. I'm Danny from NintendoCade channel. Today I have a really cool episode that I thought you guys might enjoy. This is a new series that I've kind of thought about doing for quite some time. This is a NintendoCade Classics. Now what that means is actually, obviously over the past year or so I've been getting the amazing support from the YouTube community, and you guys especially just subscribing and joining my channel for the very first time. So I'm very grateful for you guys for coming on board and gladly enjoying my content all this time, and I've been reading a lot of the comments. It's just amazing. So with that in mind, I know that a lot of you guys missed out a lot of the episodes that I made some time back that I thought would still be relevant to today's era, meaning of gaming. And with that, I actually thought about with the upcoming release of Super Mario Odyssey for Nintendo Switch, brings back a lot of the things about Mario, what he came from, his origins, his history, especially if you guys know that I actually started out with Super Mario Brothers for the NES. So this is the game that got me to video games, and still to this day I consider this is one of the best Mario games of all time. And actually for me, this really holds a really special place in my heart, and especially Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES, a great game that I still love to play to this day. Very fantastic, and I'm sure most of you guys can agree these are true classics that are totally timeless. With that in mind, I actually made an episode back a couple years back regarding with the Nintendo New York store, which used to be called Nintendo World Store back then. That they had a really amazing showcase. They could see all of the art of the origins of how they designed the levels and the way that they draw the art, the thought process, the level concepts. And I got into in depth on how they did that. So hope you guys enjoyed this classic episode of NintendoCade. Leave me below down in the comments what you think of the episode as you're watching. Any thoughts about it? What are your favorite Mario games? I'll be interested in what you have to say. So we're gonna switch over to the clip, and we'll catch you again.
Welcome everyone to the level 2 floor showcase area of the Nintendo World Store. The Nintendo Showcase is where the store periodically changes out their display to promote certain themes, franchises, or games, and in this case, it is the creative design history of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. As a point of reference, by February 19, 2016, Nintendo World Store is now referred to as Nintendo New York. Let's start things off with the history of Mario franchise timeline. Here you see Mario had his start in 1981 with the arcade classic Donkey Kong, and had his breakout role in the original Super Mario Bros. In 1985, and ending off in 2013 with Super Mario 3D World for Nintendo Wii U. Toward the bottom we have various Nintendo handhelds, games, and memorable Nintendo Power Magazine issues starring Mario over the years, spanning multiple console generations. As we move toward the right, start the museum on display the numerous original artwork, sketches, and level designs of the Super Mario Bros. Game from the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short. As we're living in the modern day, having games like Super Mario Maker for Nintendo Wii U allow us gamers to easily design our own Super Mario Bros. Courses. But back in 1985, they didn't use computerized tools. Both Shigeru Miyamoto and Takeshi Tezuka had to manually design the layout of stages and inputted data based on those drawings. The design process starts with designing and hand drawing the layout of the stages on graph paper, and then subsequently handed those drawings to the computer programmers. In turn, converted those drawings into numerical data. It is a lengthy process in which only after the program is finished processing the data that they get to see the finished course within a day or so. So you can imagine if edits were made to their design, they would make annotations and marks directly onto the graph paper, but if there were too many edits drawn, they would use tracing paper laid on top of the original. Takeshi Tezuka mentioned that they try not to experiment or make too many changes, as it would be very tedious and lengthy process to manually enter all the data necessary to output a level design. Changing things around too frequently will frustrate the programmers. A fun fact that you may not be aware of was when both Miyamoto and Tezuka suggested various ideas that was to be included in the game when designing the stages. One idea by Tezuka stuck out was a suggestion of Mario floating around in the sky on a cloud and shoot coins from it. But of course, due to the graphical limitations of the Nintendo Entertainment System back in 1985, made that idea impossible. But over time, with better understanding of the NES hardware, future iterations such as Super Mario Bros. 3 many other creative ideas was possible. Thus, Tanuki Mario was born, along with his flying abilities and various other power-ups. As more powerful hardware was released, such as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, it led to more creative possibilities and concepts to be flushed out and realized. Example of this can be seen with Super Mario World. You can see original artwork drawings of Cape Mario spinning against Goombas, and for the first time, Mario riding Yoshi. Their method of creating all concept animation, character, and level design remained the same since the original Super Mario Bros. But of course, over time, their method of creating these amazing Mario games does evolve. With each game in the franchise, they have created easier to use tools in creating side-scrolling levels. The tool developer team worked on creating the basics on what would become Super Mario Maker. Now 30 years later in Super Mario Maker, giving everyone the creative freedom and ability for anyone to create their own levels with ease. The creative process has now been passed on to us gamers, and our creativity is only limited to our imagination. The Super Mario Bros. Franchise created many fond memories for myself and others throughout the world. These games are considered timeless and can still be enjoyed to this day. It was a joy to see the creative process and original concept work done that has shaped many of my fondest childhood memories, and I hope you can share that thought with me. Let me know what are your favorite Super Mario Bros. Games and any memories you would like to share. Please stay tuned to the very end of this final Nintendo World Store Showcase presentation to see a photo slideshow of this showcase for a closer look at the original artwork, layouts, and level design. Ending off with this life-size warp pipe where anyone can take a photo of themselves coming out of a warp pipe. And now back to NintendoCade Game Room for my conclusions.
Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that clip of my old retro, I should say classic NintendoCade episode that was made a couple years back, showing the amazing Nintendo World Showcase of the art, the design, the concepts, the thought process that went through the creating of the original Super Mario Bros. And also Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. So leave me below down in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm very interested in what you have to say. So give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to NintendoCade, that's always helpful. And I'll catch you again in the next episode.